They told you that you were the digital natives. They said you were the most connected generation in history. But they forgot to tell you that connection comes with a price. It is the grief of knowing too much too soon. You are 20 years old, but you have the existential exhaustion of a century. You have seen every tragedy in real time. You have watched the world end 1,000 times before breakfast. Every scroll is a reminder of what is broken. Every notification is a demand for your empathy. You are mourning a version of the world you never even got to see. You are grieving for a future that feels like a fading mirage. This is the deep grief of Gen Z that no one talks about. It is not just about social media. It is about the loss of the unknown. There is no mystery left when everything is documented. There is no privacy when your mistakes are archived forever. You are the first generation to grow up with an audience before you even had an identity. You had to perform before you could just be. And that performance has hollowed you out. The world calls you soft because you talk about your feelings. They call you sensitive because you care about justice. But they do not see the hypervigilance behind your eyes. You grew up in the shadow of the Great Recession. You entered the workforce during a global plague. You are watching the climate change in real time. This is not just news to you. It is the background noise of your entire life. You are grieving the stability that your parents took for granted. You are mourning the dream of a simple life. The script for adulthood has been shredded. You were told to study hard and get a degree. You were told the path was linear. But the path is gone. Now you are standing in a field of rubble, being told to build a skyscraper with your bare hands. You feel like a failure because you cannot reach milestones that no longer exist. You are grieving the loss of a fair start. You have 500 friends online, but no one to call when you are crying at 3 a.m. This is the paradox of your life. You are surrounded by voices, but starving for presence. You are grieving the loss of physical community. You spend your days in digital rooms where the air is thin. You communicate through memes and irony because sincerity feels dangerous. If you are sincere, you can be hurt. If you are ironic, you are safe. But irony is a cold comfort. It does not hold your hand. It does not look you in the eye. You are mourning the loss of the third place. There are no more malls or parks or community centers where you can just exist without spending money. Everything has been monetized. Your hobbies are now side hustles. Your personality is now a personal brand. You are grieving the parts of yourself that you sold just to be seen. When was the last time you were truly bored? When was the last time your mind was quiet and still? You have lost the ability to just be. The algorithm knows your fears better than you do. It feeds them back to you in a loop. You are grieving the loss of your own attention span. You feel like your brain has been hijacked by 1,000 engineers in Silicon Valley. You want to look away, but the silence is even scarier. Because in the silence, you have to face the void. You have to face the fact that you are lonely. You have to face the fact that you are terrified of the future. So you scroll. You distract. You are grieving the peace of a mind that is not constantly being sold something. You were forced to grow up at the speed of the internet. You saw things at 10 years old that your grandparents did not see until they were 50. You had to have an opinion on global politics before you knew how to drive. You had to be an activist before you were an adult. The world placed the weight of its survival on your shoulders. They told you that you were the ones who would save us. But no one asked if you were tired. No one asked if you wanted to be a hero. You are grieving the childhood you lost to the crisis of the week. You are mourning the lightness of being young. You are the most self-aware generation, but that awareness feels like a prison. You analyze your trauma until it becomes a script. You categorize your pain into neat little boxes. But boxes do not heal. This grief is heavy, but it is not a dead end. You are not broken for feeling this way. You are responding to an environment that is fundamentally unnatural. The first step to healing is admitting that this hurts. You have to stop pretending that being resilient is enough. You have to stop idolizing the grind. You have to start honoring the parts of you that are tired. You need to reclaim the right to be small. You are just one person. You were never meant to carry the grief of 8 billion people. You were never meant to be a brand. You were meant to be a human being who makes mistakes and grows in private. Give yourself permission to log off. The world will still be there when you return. Find a hobby that you are bad at. Do it just because it feels good. Touch the earth. Remember that you are a biological creature and not a digital avatar. Seek slow connections. One real conversation is worth 1,000 likes. The old world is dying and the new one is not yet born. You are living in the space between. That is a terrifying place to be, but it is also a place of power. You get to decide what the next chapter looks like. You can choose to reject the pressure to perform. You can choose to prioritize your peace over your productivity. You are grieving because you care. You are grieving because you know things could be better. That grief is the seed of a new kind of strength. It is a strength based on truth instead of performance. It is a maturity that comes from healing instead of survival. You never had a quiet world, but you can build a quiet life. You never had a simple future, but you can create a meaningful one. Stop trying to save the world and start by saving yourself. Let the digital mask fall away. Let yourself be seen in all your mess and all your fear. You are not a data point. You are not a generation. You are soul. And it is time to come back to yourself. The deep grief is real, but it is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your truth. You are finally growing up on your own terms. Not through the lens of a camera, but through the light of your own spirit. The future is still unwritten. And this time you are the one holding the pen.